Hey, what's up, my dame? It's MMTJ here, and before I get into the main topic of this video, I have a question I would like to ask our viewers out there, whether it be our subscribers or anybody who stumbled across this video randomly, and that is, how are you doing? Because I know it's been a while since me and Skinny have updated the channel, so I know that in the times that we haven't had any videos on the channel, that some pretty exciting things had to happen with you guys, whether it be from YouTube or just in your personal lives. So if that's the case, hell, let me know what's good. Let me know how you're doing. Leave something in the comments. I would like to know just to see how you guys are doing. So with that being said, the main topic of this video is going to be a little story that happened to me at my job. So I figured this would be something pretty cool to talk about because it was kind of trippy when it happened to me, and I told Skinny this story. He actually gave me the idea of actually putting this video on YouTube and telling it to you guys. So without further ado, let story time begin. So to start the story, I am employed. I do have a job as a garage attendant, and the building is connected, the garage is connected to a condo building, and the condo building has a lot of wealthy people in there. Now, for me, there are two kinds of wealthy people that live in that building. The cool wealthy people that I feel they don't turn their nose up to the commoners or the blue collar workers, and then there are the spoiled wealthy people who feel like just because they have money, they're better than everybody and that everybody should bow down to them. This story involves one of the spoiled wealthy people, and it was a woman, no doubt. So let's get into it, shall we? The day I came into work, I was about to go ahead and start my car washing because everybody in the garage who works there, we have to wash at least 30 cars a week. And I was working the evening shift, and the evening shift is very hectic. So I like to get into work early to go ahead and get the car washer out of the way. That way I'm not being overwhelmed by having to wash cars, also having to deal with the hustle and bustle of working the evening shift, because that is not enjoyable in the slightest. So things start out pretty normally. I'll go ahead and make my rounds around the garage, just checking to see if anything's out of place or if anything looks questionable. So I got that out of the way and proceeded to start my car washing. So once I start my car washing, this woman comes into the garage, and she has a Porsche SUV. So she calls me off the wash rack, and she tells me that one of her tires is low and she would like to have some air in it. Now, the garage has an air tank in it. We have our own air tank, so people who want air in their tires, we can go ahead and give them air, or they can fill it up themselves. But as long as they get the air in their tires, they don't give a fuck. So I go ahead and proceed to put air in this lady's tire. Now, little did I know that somebody had tampered with the air tank beforehand. I'm not sure who did it. I'm not sure how long ago it was, but the air tank wasn't working. But I didn't know this because when I went to put the air in her tire, I thought that it was filling up, but I was taking more air out than I was putting in, and I didn't know that. It wasn't until I took the air pump away and actually squeezed the handle to see if there was any air coming out. It was weak, and when I connected it to the tire, I noticed that it wasn't enough pressure to actually push air into the tires. So I was actually taking more air out than I was leaving in. So when I let her know this, she was like, okay, I have more air out of my tires than I have in there. Now, the tire wasn't completely flat, mind you. It was low, but not low enough to where you couldn't drive on it for a little while. So she gets into a fucking uproar about this because once I found out that the air tank wasn't working, she was like, well, you gotta find out a way to make it work because I can't drive around with my tire like this. Now, at that point, I completely understood where she was coming from. She didn't want to drive with her tire the way it was, but at the same time, it wasn't that low to where she couldn't just take it to a gas station and use one of the air tanks there to fill it up. So she gets into an uproar because she wants air in her tires. I can't do anything because I don't know how the fucking air tank works. Because when people in the garage want air in their tires, I normally just go to the air tank, fill it up, and go. I don't touch any buttons. I don't twist any knobs because I'm afraid that something might fuck up, and if it fucks up, then it's going to be on me. So I'm telling her, I can't really put any more air into your tire because I don't know how this machine works. And she's like, well, I'm sorry, but I can't leave with my tire out of here like this. You're going to have to do something. You're going to have to find a way to make this machine work. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I don't know how to fucking make this machine work, damn it. I'm not going to magically just gain the knowledge to fix this. And the other kicker is, while I'm not too familiar with the area which my job is in, I do know that there is a gas station right down the street from the garage. I know that for a fact. And she was getting so pissy about having air in her tire, whereas she wasn't willing to go down the street because the tire still was not that low to where it couldn't be driven on. She could have went down the street instead of wasting all of this time barking at me about trying to make something work that I didn't have any idea how to make work. She even had me call my boss and try to figure out how to make this shit work. And he didn't even know. He used to know, but he forgot. So he didn't know how to make it work. I didn't know how to make it work. So we were both fucked in figuring out how to make this work. And she's pissed because she's talking about she has something to do, which overall I couldn't give two shits about. But she's still barking at me and trying to make this machine work. And I don't even know how to fucking do it. So I'm sitting there wasting time with this woman. The garage floor is filling up with other cars that are coming in. And she's just sitting there just being pissy. Whereas all the time she spent arguing with me, she could have went down the street to the fucking gas station. And I know because she's lived in this neighborhood for a good few years. So she has to know his neighborhood, but she was too fucking occupied with trying to figure this shit out rather than just going down to the gas station and putting air in her tires. And this is pissing me off because I know I can't speak my mind, like really speak my mind to the residents in there for fear of getting reprimanded or worst case scenario getting fired. But at this point, this bitch, and I'm sorry that I used that word, I try not to call anybody a bitch, but she was a bitch at this point because she was pissing me off with this shit. And another thing was, since she couldn't get air in her tire, she just said fuck it. Rather than going ahead and taking the simple route of going down the fucking street and filling her air with the air tank that is at the gas station, she decides to call Porsche down there just to fill her tires. And that's what really tripped me the fuck out. It's like, you're throwing up this big stink, whereas the solution is simple as fuck, but you call Porsche down here just to fill a tire because you're too fucking spoiled to actually go ahead and learn how to pump air in your own damn tire. That was bullshit to me. I am sorry. And bringing this up now, it still kind of pisses me off to think that with everything that was going on, that one simple solution she did not want to do because she was too fucking prissy to actually do this shit herself. And if she was one of those people, if you tell her no, and that's the case with some of the people in the building, they don't want to hear no. They want shit to happen. They don't like hearing no. Unless you do it their way, they don't want it done at all. And this was the case here. She wanted it done her way. And couldn't do it her way because, once again, I didn't know how to make the machine work. I didn't want to fuck with shit. But at the time, I was like, you know what? I just want this bitch out of my hair. So I tried playing with knobs and shit. Didn't work. So once again, didn't know how to make the fucking machine work. She wasn't hearing that. She thought that I was just gonna magically make the shit work. So I'm just sitting there pissed as a motherfucker. Now, she called Porsche up there, which I still can't fucking believe because, once again, simple solution. But apparently people up there don't like logic. They don't have common sense. Some of the people don't. So all of a sudden she wants me to go through this whole complicated ass regimen of, okay, when Porsche gets here, I want you to hide the gas. I want you to hide the air tank because if they see the air tank, I won't get this for free. I'm like, whoa. In the back of my mind, I was thinking, hold up one second. So you have money, but you're tripping about them seeing the tank because if they see it, they're gonna charge you. So why are you so worried about having to spend money which you have plenty of? You're putting me through all of this unnecessary bullshit because A, you don't want to go ahead and actually do the logical thing, and B, you're being cheap, which kills me because you have fucking money. But she wants me to go through all this just so Porsche wouldn't charge her. But you know you have plenty of money to pay for this, and it wasn't even them replacing the tire. It was just them putting air in the tire. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm going through all this shit. I have other things that I'm trying to tend to in the garage. I have other residents I have to deal with. I have to deal with contractors wanting to sign out. I'm dealing with constant in and out phone calls, but she's making me waste my time, my valuable time, on this one simple ass thing that could have been rectified in probably less than like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? You are that fucking spoiled that, excuse me 1 second. Skeeto, it's annoying. You are that fucking spoiled to where you don't want to go ahead and learn how to do this one simple thing on your own. I was like, yep, you are a spoiled rich bitch. I'm sorry, but that's just how I saw it. It was just like that. So Porsche came out there with, I still can't fucking believe, they filled the tire, and I may have inadvertently told on this woman because when they asked me did they notice the tire was low, did I notice the tire was low, I was like, yeah, I noticed the tire was low. It's like, well, how do you know the tire was low? Because I told them that I put air in the tire with our own tank and it wasn't working. And I noticed the look on the guy's face when I told him that. He was like, oh, okay. So basically, it wasn't anything natural. You took air out. So therefore, this wasn't an emergency. This was deliberate. So fucking, I'm gonna charge this bitch, which I hope he did. Like, that'll be her just dessert for putting me through all that bullshit, because that was something that could have been solved with one simple solution. Go down the street, the tire was not that low, it was still drivable. I'm not asking you to drive to fucking Wisconsin to get some air, just down the fucking street to get some air. Just down the street. But hey, it was what it was. In the end, she got air. She got the fuck out of my hair. I went on with my day. So overall, I just looked at that as wow. Like, you see shit like this on TV or you hear stories about it, but when you're actually faced with like somebody that spoiled, then it's a real eye-opener. And that right there was a real eye-opener. I'm like, wow, I cannot believe this shit just happened. They do exist. And I met one, unfortunately. So I'm like, damn. But yeah, that's the end of that story. That's something that I wanted to tell you guys to get that off my chest. You know, Skinny thought it was hilarious because of what happened and how it happened. And he was like, fuck it, go ahead and tell this story to the guys on YouTube. I'm pretty sure they'll enjoy it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. You know, I'm glad I was able to get that off my chest. Glad I was able to tell that to you. So, hell, that's pretty much the end of the story. So, I would like to thank you all for watching this video. And that's it from me, MMTJ, over and out. So, until the next video, peace out, my damies.